A little thought experiment. Imagine waking up tomorrow. The physical world, the roads, the buildings, the entire internet, it's completely untouched. But overnight, our invisible foundations have just vanished. Think about what that actually means. No money. Suddenly, the paper in your wallet and those numbers in your banking app, totally meaningless. Millions of strangers instantly lose the fundamental concept of cooperation. Society just grinds to an absolute halt. And with no government, the invisible boundaries that dictate our laws and property rights, they just evaporate into thin air. There's literally no authority left to enforce the rules that we all implicitly agreed to just a few hours before. Passports, schools, brands, corporations, poof, all gone. We'd be left standing in this fully built physical world with absolutely no idea how to interact with it, or for that matter, with each other. So, this brings us to a massive question. Was the most powerful technology humans ever invented actually a shared belief? Because as we're going to unpack in today's explainer, human civilization was built on an invisible technology. And honestly, the most powerful tool we ever created wasn't the wheel, it wasn't the microchip, it was our ability to believe in the same things. Section 1. Before the first cities. The era of personal trust. Let's see how this all builds from the very beginning. For a staggering 95% of human history, people lived in these small, tight-knit groups of maybe 150 people. Trust was strictly personal. You knew everyone, you knew their strengths, their weaknesses, and exactly how reliable they were. Early society functioned purely on a reputation-based system. If someone lied, well, everybody remembered. But the system eventually hits a biological ceiling, right? Human memory simply cannot track the reputation of 10,000 strangers. Which brings us to Section 2. The power of shared belief, a new operating system. So around 5,000 years ago, humans stopped wondering. We began building, but thousands of strangers living together meant personal trust was no longer going to cut it. Civilization needed a complete code upgrade. Down in ancient Mesopotamia, things like clay tablets and irrigation canals became the physical results of this new, invisible rulebook. Writing essentially became our external memory, and just like that, the very first governments were born. Every early civilization realized this profound secret. People cooperate so much more easily when they believe they belong to something bigger than themselves, whether they were unified by religion, the divine right of kings, or the might of an empire. And this brilliantly illustrates how barter evolved into something truly remarkable. Money. Think about it. A silver coin or a digital payment isn't valuable because of its physical properties. Money has value simply because we all collectively agree it does. Trust itself became a currency. Shared belief created shared action. While the exact stories, the majestic temples, and the cultural symbols varied wildly across ancient societies, their core function remained exactly the same. It was the invisible glue that allowed millions of people to align their efforts. Moving to Section 3, Machines and Global Information, the acceleration of progress. Let's dive into the physical explosion of the Industrial Revolution, which changed the pace of history forever. Suddenly, the old limits of human and animal muscle were shattered. Railroads violently cut through landscapes to connect entirely new continents, and rapid, mechanized production became the absolute ultimate symbol of a society's success. But then, the information revolution hit. Through the telegraph and radio, messages that once took months began arriving in minutes. Information started moving faster than humans could even physically travel, allowing previously isolated markets to become truly globally connected in ways that were unimaginable before. Section 4. The invisible digital economy. Value that cannot be touched. So, the crucial point we're reaching today is that as technology has advanced, the modern economy has become increasingly invisible. We've transitioned from forging steel to dealing in assets you can't even hold in your hand. Some of the world's most powerful companies now create products that exist almost entirely as information. I mean, we assign massive value to lines of code, curated digital identities, and virtual currencies. Ultimately, our greatest advantage as a species is our unmatched ability to organize millions of strangers around these invisible ideas. Think about a law. A law is literally just ink on paper, until society actually gives it authority. And the exact same thing goes for companies. A corporation is essentially a legal fiction, yet millions of people invest their lives, their time, and their hard-earned money into them, acting as though these concepts are just as real as a physical building.
And because we collectively believe in borders and national identities, we manage to cooperate on a planetary scale. We structure our entire geopolitical reality around this sustained shared belief.
Finally, Section 5, AI and our future beliefs. The next great revolution. We are standing on the precipice of a new era. Artificial intelligence is going to test our systems of trust like never before. History shows us that every single technological revolution changes not just how we work, but what we fundamentally believe. So, if machines rather than human leaders start making complex decisions for our society, what new narratives are we going to construct?
For millennia, we trusted human reputation. Then we evolved to trust institutions. But moving forward, what happens next? We actually place our ultimate faith in the cold, hard logic of an algorithm over our deeply flawed human-run systems. It's a huge question.
You see, civilization is always built twice. First in the human mind, and then in the physical world. The invisible always shapes the visible. As we stare into this vast digital horizon, it really leaves us to wonder, has the next great revolution of human history already begun with just another invisible idea?